Hey there, YouTube. Hey, today I'm talking about my Lenovo U310. As some of you know from watching my previous videos, I don't have the U310 anymore. I now have the Y400. The reason why I have the Y400 now is because I had an issue with my U310, and Lenovo wasn't kind enough to replace it with the Y400. Sorry for most of my laptops over here, my PC's here. Okay, now you know where things are. Okay, so I had an issue with the U310, and that's what this video is about. So I'm going to talk to you about what happened and how it went through things in case you're at all curious for whatever reason. So I got this computer. Let's see, it would have been in July. I think it was July 14th I ordered it. Got in shortly thereafter. Got Amazon Prime shipping. So got it in, set up, worked fine until syllabus week. And if you're in college or you've been to college, you know what I mean by syllabus week. Kind of chill week, but you're starting to get in the swing of things. So I was setting everything up, installing Windows updates, doing everything else. I've also never done Windows updates, so I was installing those, and I was also installing Visual Studio for my computer science courses. So I was doing not too much. And after I did both Windows updates and Visual Studio in the same, uptime for the computer, did a restart, and it wouldn't boot up again. So I poked around at a few things, couldn't figure it out. I figured, okay, at this point, I need to call tech support. But before I did that, because I figured they'd have me mailed in or something like that, I got my, Linux USB, plugged it in, boot up to Linux, opened a USB, started copying files onto it, just that way, I could get my files back, some of my files back. Even though I had backed up many of them with Windows Live Mesh, there's a few on there that didn't get backed up, so I got those off of there. And I started looking, I called up tech support. Said, okay, this is the problem I'm having. They walked me through doing one key recovery. It didn't work. It failed. That file was corrupted as well. Most of my files were intact, but that file was corrupted. So they told me, okay, drop it off at FedEx store. We'll ship it to Texas. We'll fix it up there. We'll mail it back to you. So did that, dropped it off. Got about 2 weeks later, got it back. Okay. You open up the box, and then it had a paper that said, okay, here's what we did, and what they did was they replaced the hard drive. Cool. Should be fine now. Yeah, it wasn't. Within about 3 days, I think it died about 4 or 5 more times at least. I don't remember the exact count, but I knew there was a problem there. So the reason why it died so many times was because after the first time it died, which was in less than 6 hours after I got it back, I was trying to test different things to see what would break it. To see if I could find some patterns, that way I could tell them and get them to fix it. So I ended up, I couldn't figure out, I guessed maybe it was Windows updates somehow. So I called them back and let them know what I called their software support because I was saying, hey, if it was Windows updates, maybe it's their software support to talk to. Called them and they said no, talk to hardware support. And so I was going to do that, but I noticed when I was working a little bit than it had been the last few times, and I was tired after a long day, so I'll leave it go for now. Let's see how long this lasts. And about a month later, when it actually died again the next time, maybe I wasn't using it a whole lot at this point on my PC, which I was using most of the time. I was using this on and off. I wasn't using it for day to day because I just don't put my whole trust into it. So the next time it died, I was just fed up. I was like, I don't have time to deal with this dying anymore. I need a working computer. I'm a college student. I'm a computer science major. I need a computer to take to class and take to my labs and everything like that. I need a laptop. And I paid big bucks for this. I need this working. So I got on the phone with them, said, okay, it's broken again. And I was not going to go down lightly. So I, before I let the guy, take my information to mail it back to them again, I couldn't say sat him down because I wasn't there, but I was on the phone with him for probably a good half an hour, telling him the story of everything I went through during this time. To tell him, you looked up, do research. I checked, did went through recovery numerous times, along with other things. And so he knew the whole story, just that way they could, know what the things I've done, and what they could, base their, testing and repair off of that. So I mailed it back into them, and they got it fixed up and got back to me within a week. I was a little surprised at how fast they got it fixed, so I, opened up the box, pulled the letter of what they did, and they did one key recovery, which is what they told me to do from the beginning, and I had done, at least half a dozen times probably before I mailed it back to them that time. So they didn't actually fix anything. They just fixed the symptom, which didn't really fix the problem I was seeing. It was just the symptom, not the actual problem. I was pretty pissed when I saw this, because it meant that they just didn't give a crap, because I had told them numerous times over the phone that I had done that, so you'd think they'd pass it on to their tech support agents, that way they wouldn't spend time doing that if it had already been done. Okay, sorry, a little rant right there. But, so I finally, I called them back this time not to get them fix it again, because I didn't have time to fix it again, because it was just seriously, why am I wasting my time and money to send this over? I wasn't paying for shipping, but I had to pay for gas money to get the FedEx store. Okay, whatever. So I called them back, not with the intention of getting it fixed, but with the intention of talking to their superior to tell them about the support experience I've had. And I was mostly just trying to get them to admit their fault with bad service, and then to try to figure out something to some sort of solution, whether it be just telling I had a few options. Like I was like, okay, I want a new computer. I want to tell me how. I want you to give me one with Windows 8 on it on the SSD, or I want you to tell me how to install an SSD. And they just said, okay. What they ended up doing in the long run was they forwarded me on to their, I can't remember what the department was called, but it's like their customer, I can't remember what it's called, but it was pretty much the people who dealt with situations where people were frustrated. So I got called. This is the type of support where you cannot call them until they call you. They contact you, and you can get their contact information from there. So I talked to them. I got with them on the first time on November 2nd, and I talked to this guy. He was pretty nice. He wasn't the best at returning my calls and or emails. It was a few days between the two. So I told him the story. He agreed that they could give me a new computer, and I asked for a different model because I didn't have time to deal with this issue again. And he said, okay, cool, pick one out you like, and we'll see what we can do. And by the time got to that point of me choosing what I wanted, he disappeared, and he was replaced with a different agent. This agent was a little more strict about the models I could get, but I managed to get the Lenovo Y400 and mail it in. And I mentioned to them that I thought it was a design flaw, but they said there was no reported design flaw, but I don't see why they would admit that, because if they did, then they'd probably pay big bucks to do something. I'm not sure what. Yeah, that's pretty much what I went through. What I'd say when you deal with Lenovo support is, from what I can tell, you have to be stern, and you say, okay, I'd say the first time you send it in, they may not fix it that first time, because sometimes it's a bigger issue than they realize. Sometimes it's a small issue, and I get that. But after the second or third time, so you start to be stern with them and say, okay, I'm a customer. You've been, especially if it's because of what I went through, where they ignore what you said, then you can say, okay, I've had bad service. You need to make this right. This is, whatever. Okay, you need to make this right. You be stern with them. Don't get angry with them. That has to do with it, because remember, these people are, some of them are probably, hourly employees at minimum wage, and they just have to go by the rules. It's not them who you're angry at. You're angry at the corporation overall, not the individual. You don't, Yes, you can yell at them, but I don't recommend it. I've done tech support before. That's what I'd say. Pretty much what happened with this computer is I'd do something when I was using it. It would I sometimes would be Windows updates. It might be Visual Studio. It might be neither of those things. It could be everything. I don't know. And I'd restart, and it would go to boot up, and usually it'd say something along the lines of some sort of like I/O error between input output error between the CD. It's a blanket error message about between like the CD drive or the hard drive or something. I don't know what. And so you said that I looked in. I couldn't figure that out. And what I noticed is that the files were always there, but that you can never find Windows. You can find Windows that Windows Stop Recovery a number of times, but you can never find Windows itself. I had people think that maybe it was the master boot file that got corrupted or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't. I'm still very above my head right now. I'm not sure what caused this. Anyways, if you have any more questions, feel free to comment on the video. And if it's worth, I'll try to reply to them as I can. If it's worthwhile, I'll make another video and explain and go even more in depth. But I was trying to spread the word about this issue. At this point, I would not, personally, I'm not going to buy another Lenovo Ultrabook with an SSD for at least a few more years. I don't have them. I haven't cultured. I don't have made an Ultrabook for the moment. But even then, I'm not going to recommend my family to get one anytime soon. And I'm so done with this issue is. If you know what the issue is and you fixed it, I'd also like to hear that. And if you have a video about fixing it, I'll be sure to put a link on here or something. So thanks. And also, before I forget, I'm going to do a video. I might do a video on a review of Windows 8. Simply because my friends are commenting about it a lot lately. So if you want, look for that. Cool. Bye.